If you're shopping for a brownstone in Brooklyn, you may have noticed that property taxes can be extremely appealing. And by that, I mean very, very low, lower than you would otherwise expect. Why is that? Well, we'll demystify the question of why property taxes are low in New York City for brownstones in the following video. I'm Nick at Hauseit. If you are looking to buy, we can save you 2% or more through our buyer agent commission rebate program. Get in touch with us today to learn how much you can save. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first question is, if you are buying a brownstone, are the taxes on the listing actually representative of what you're going to pay? Because in many other places, for example, in Florida, when you buy a property, your purchase price effectively triggers a reassessment. And so what you see on the listing really doesn't reflect what you might pay. In New York City, that is absolutely not the case. So when you buy a property in New York City, whatever assessed value was in place with the growth caps that we'll talk about continues as you take over the ownership. So going back to the question of why are property taxes so low, well, it has to do with how the city throttles the growth of assessed value over time. So let's get into it. The first thing the city does is derive the market value of the property. So they'll look at comparable sales in the area, come up with a framework for what the property's market value actually is. And here's where it gets interesting. So they then create an assessed value by multiplying the market value by 6%. But the assessed value cannot increase by more than 6% per year or by 20% over any 5-year period. As a result, when you're in a neighborhood like Park Slope or Bushwick, where property prices have gone up a lot and quickly, that creates a huge disparity between what the assessed value should be in the absence of the cap that I just mentioned and what it actually is. So this is the reason and the answer to the topic of the video as to why property taxes are very low in places like Bushwick, Park Slope, much of Brownstone, Brooklyn. And it also explains why property taxes are way higher for townhouses in Manhattan, and that's because property prices there have been appreciating for much longer, and so there's been a lot more time for the assessed value to catch up in light of the assessed value growth cap that we discussed. So buying a brownstone is a great idea for the primary reason that the property taxes in Brooklyn are super low. And on top of that, if you're comparing to a condo like many buyers do, you don't have common charges. And for example, in a property like the one we're in, you can actually rent out the garden floor rental, the unit downstairs, it's like a 1-bedroom. And so by doing that, you have low property taxes, possibly lower than what you're paying with a condo. You also have no common charges. And on top of that, you have rental income. So ironically, even though the purchase price for a brownstone might be meaningfully higher than what you pay for a condo, your total monthly housing payment might actually be comparable. So again, if you are looking to buy in New York City, check out Hauseit and our buyer agent commission rebate program. It's a great way to lower your closing costs. We hope to hear from you, and please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. We'll see you on the next one.